What if history is hiding something enormous, literally? Across the American Midwest, there are whispers of massive skeletons unearthed in ancient burial mounds. Stories once printed in newspapers and buried in forgotten archives now raise startling questions. Could ancient giants have walked this land before us? Many reports describe bones of men over 8 feet tall, buried with strange artifacts. But over time, these discoveries seem to vanish, along with the evidence. In this video, we will uncover what remains of these lost legends, and why they still matter.
In the 1800s and early 1900s, dozens of reports surfaced about enormous human remains found across the Midwest. Newspapers from Ohio, Illinois, and Kentucky described skulls with double rows of teeth and bones of towering proportions. Archaeologists at the time claimed to uncover entire skeletons that defied normal human size. These findings often came from Native American burial mounds, sacred sites long misunderstood. Some bones were said to be reburied or mysteriously sent to institutions like the Smithsonian. Soon after, the reports stopped. Many of these documents were lost, archived, or labeled as hoaxes without full investigation. But local legends in these areas never faded. Farmers still tell stories of digging up bones larger than any person they had ever seen. Researchers have traced over 100 newspaper clippings that mention giants in the Midwest alone. Some included photographs, others described ceremonial burial chambers and giant tools. Skeptics argue these were simply misidentified or exaggerated. Still, the consistency of the descriptions across time and location is hard to ignore. Could this be evidence of a suppressed chapter in American history? Or are we only now beginning to understand what truly lies beneath the surface?
All of this leads to one pressing question. What happened to the actual bones? How could so many similar discoveries simply disappear? Many point to institutions that allegedly received the artifacts but never displayed them. Others believe early archaeologists dismissed them as errors or fantasy. Still, official responses have often been vague or non-existent. It is not just about bones. It is about what we choose to preserve and what we choose to forget. So let us look deeper into the lost records and the silence that followed.
Many reports from the 19th and early 20th centuries spoke of bones that measured over 8 feet in length. Some accounts described skulls so large that a modern adult could fit their head inside. These discoveries were often documented by local newspapers and even early scientists. In several cases, the bones were reportedly sent to museums or research institutions. But when followed up later, no official records could be found. The Smithsonian Institution has been repeatedly mentioned in connection with these disappearances. They have denied any deliberate removal of evidence. Still, the question remains: why were these findings not preserved or studied more thoroughly? Some researchers believe a decision was made to keep such discoveries out of public view. They argue that evidence of giants would contradict accepted models of human evolution. There are claims that some burial sites were quietly closed off or excavated without public notice. Photographs and early sketches that once existed have mysteriously gone missing. Modern attempts to revisit the sites often find them disturbed or destroyed. Could this be a case of institutional oversight, or something more intentional?
If physical evidence is hard to find, then perhaps oral traditions can guide us. Many Native American tribes have legends of giant beings who once roamed the land. Some describe them as protectors, while others as brutal enemies. They are said to have come from the stars, lived underground, or ruled mountaintop cities. These stories were passed down long before newspapers spoke of giant skeletons. Could there be more truth in these ancient tales than we have realized? Let us explore the myths that echo from the voices of the first people of this land.
The Choctaw people spoke of a race of giant cannibals called the Nahulo, who terrorized their ancestors. The Paiutes told of the Si-Te-Ka, red-haired giants who lived in caves and battled native tribes. The Iroquois, Cherokee, and Navajo also speak of giant beings that once walked among humans. Some legends describe these giants as builders, others as invaders from the sky. They were said to possess superior strength and advanced knowledge. In some tales, they could move massive stones and vanish into the mountains. Many were eventually defeated by smaller but smarter humans, according to tribal stories. Some were said to flee underground, never to be seen again. The consistency of these legends across different tribes is hard to ignore. They span hundreds of miles and hundreds of years, and often they match the same general descriptions found in old excavation reports. Even the Hopi speak of ancestors who fought against beings that did not belong on Earth. Are these just cultural metaphors, or distant memories of a forgotten age? Modern researchers are beginning to compare mythology with geography and archaeology, and what they are finding is both mysterious and compelling.
Scattered across the American Midwest are thousands of ancient earthworks. Many were built with extraordinary precision, long before modern tools existed. We call them mounds, but their purpose and creators remain largely unknown. Could the people who built them be connected to the legends of giants? Early explorers often reported finding large skeletons inside the mounds. Let us take a closer look at what these ancient monuments may be hiding. Their secrets might reshape everything we thought we knew about prehistoric America.
The Adena and Hopewell cultures are credited with constructing many of these mounds. These civilizations flourished long before the rise of modern cities in North America. Some of their burial mounds stretch for hundreds of feet and align with celestial patterns. Inside, researchers have found stone tools, copper jewelry, and ceremonial objects. But early records also describe skeletal remains that exceeded normal human size. In several instances, the skeletons were reported to be over 7 feet tall. Some had double rows of teeth or unusually shaped skulls. Photographs from the 1800s showed excavation teams posing with giant bones. Those photographs, however, are now missing or discredited. There are no conclusive answers, only fragmentary reports and vanishing evidence. Academic institutions often dismiss the idea as exaggerated or fabricated. But local legends continue to speak of tall, powerful ancestors who walked the land. The mystery of the mound builders is not just about architecture, it is about identity. Who were these people, and what legacy did they leave buried beneath the soil?
Some believe the stories of giants in America go far beyond archaeology or legend. They connect them to ancient texts, including the Bible. The book of Genesis speaks of the Nephilim, giants born from unions between gods and humans. Could these figures have found their way into the myths of Native Americans? And could their descendants have left physical traces in the mounds and caves of America? It is a bold question, but one that researchers are increasingly asking. Let us now explore the surprising connections between Scripture and the soil of North America.
The Nephilim are described in ancient Hebrew texts as giants who once roamed the earth. These beings were said to possess immense strength and unusual appearances. Some researchers believe the Nephilim did not vanish completely. Instead, they may have migrated across continents, influencing global legends. In North America, various tribes speak of star people and sky giants. These figures are often described as tall, powerful, and not fully human. The similarities between these stories and the Nephilim accounts are striking. In particular, the legends of red-haired giants in caves resemble ancient biblical descriptions. Several 19th century newspapers documented large skeletons found in burial chambers. Some of these discoveries were linked to early European settlers with biblical worldviews. The overlap between archaeology and religion remains controversial. Mainstream scholars urge caution, citing lack of hard evidence. Still, some ancient sites in the Midwest contain symbols that echo Near Eastern motifs. Could there be a forgotten chapter in the movement of ancient peoples and myths? Or are we simply connecting dots in search of a deeper story?
Many of the claims about ancient giants have been met with skepticism. Scientists often argue that the skeletons were either mismeasured or misinterpreted. They cite natural variation in human height and rare bone diseases. Some suggest that early reports were exaggerated to attract public attention. Others believe there may have been deliberate efforts to suppress inconvenient evidence. The debate raises a larger question. How much do we truly know about ancient history? Let us now examine what the experts and skeptics have to say about these controversial findings.
Archaeologists maintain that most reported giant skeletons fall within normal human size. They argue that early measurements were often made without modern tools or standards. Some cases involved misidentified animal bones or distorted remains. Skeptics also point to hoaxes and sensationalist newspaper stories from the 1800s. In several cases, Supposed giant bones were never photographed or preserved. Mainstream science views these accounts as folklore rather than fact. Yet the absence of hard evidence does not convince all researchers. Independent investigators claim that certain discoveries were removed or hidden. They question why so many early reports disappeared from museum records. There are accusations of institutional censorship, especially involving the Smithsonian. Despite numerous Freedom of Information Act requests, many questions remain unanswered. Still, no verified specimen of a giant has ever been studied in a peer-reviewed setting. The clash between belief and evidence continues to fuel the mystery. Is it all just a historical misunderstanding, or is something being kept from us?
Across the American Midwest, stories of giants continue to echo through folklore. Old settlers and native traditions alike speak of large humanoid beings buried in mounds. Some towns still have legends about giant bones being unearthed and quietly removed. These tales are passed down through generations, sometimes whispered with caution. They raise a question too persistent to ignore. What truth might lie behind the myth? Are these just exaggerated local stories, or traces of something real? Let us now explore the enduring folklore and the lasting impact of these ancient accounts.
From Ohio to Illinois, hundreds of burial mounds have been excavated over the centuries. Some early reports describe skeletons measuring over 7 feet in length. Local farmers, amateur historians, and even school children discovered these remains. They were often found in seated positions, with artifacts like copper tools or large stone axes. Newspapers in the late 1800s regularly printed stories of giants discovered in mounds. Some accounts even mention double rows of teeth and elongated skulls. These reports have never been fully debunked, yet they remain unverified by mainstream science. In several cases, bones reportedly sent to museums vanished from public records. The Smithsonian Institution has repeatedly denied any involvement in suppression. Despite this, the suspicion of hidden history lingers in alternative research communities. Folklorists argue that these stories serve as cultural metaphors, not factual accounts. But even metaphors often grow from a seed of historical truth. Could the Midwest truly be the final resting place of forgotten beings? Or is it simply a land rich in myth and mystery? The question still captivates researchers and storytellers alike.
What if the legends we hear are not just legends at all? What if America's ancient past holds secrets too large to ignore? Literally? From bones to myths, the Midwest seems to whisper stories long buried. Whether fact, fiction, or something in between, the mystery demands our attention. History is not always written in books. Sometimes it's hidden in forgotten soil. And perhaps that's where the truth lies, waiting to be rediscovered. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into ancient mysteries.